about that time, ladies and gentlemen, where we hit the what the fuck switch. Oh, what? But you don't think I'll do it? I'll fucking do it. Buckle up, you some bitches. Oh. Oh, that was the wrong... That was the ghost switch. Oh, here it is. There's a lot of crazy crap you can buy at thrift stores these days. Say, for instance, a perfectly good blonde wig, or maybe a couple of James Bond novels, or... well, what's this? Just sitting amongst the treasures and clothes people probably died in is this, a DVD with 4 feature-length movies. You know, I've never heard of any of these movies before, and considering where I found this bad boy, it's a fair bet to say that none of these are any hidden gems. Or are they? About to find out.
Alright, 4 films for the price of 1. Well, actually, I did get this out of thrift shops, so more like 4 films for the price of the moon pie.
Question is, which one should I watch first?
Eeny, meeny, miny, genie. This movie starts with discount Indiana Jones, played by a discount Bruce Campbell, going all Ghostbusters on a discount Egyptian film set.
Listen! You smell something?
Of course, Dr. Jones and Short Round find themselves a lamp, and of course get attacked by a mummy. Well, apparently, if you want to make a poorly choreographed action sequence look dumber, you just crank up the speed. We transition from this to see an asshole kid swimming around a fountain taking pennies when he's stopped by a poorly dubbed cop.
Hey, kid! Listen, kid, I'm a cop. I see someone stealing money. I take him downtown, okay? Let's go.
Well, if you're so smart, tell me where the slang word cop came from.
Now, let's go down to the station.
Cop, or copper, is an abbreviation for constable on patrol.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the bad stuff.
The takeaway from this scene is that Geek Patrol over here doesn't believe in wishes, because he's been to this very fountain for years throwing pennies in and none of his wishes has come true. As such, he decided to get his money back. Seems sensible, you know, apart from the whole thinking wishing fountains even work thing.
See, this is why Disney needs to put disclaimers in their movies.
Believe, and your dreams will come true, as long as you actually work towards achieving said dreams, and that your dreams aren't batshit insane fantasies that would never happen in a million years. So after assaulting an officer, we see the delinquent at school buying an entire barrel of ice cream for everyone, but he's so unpopular that everyone still ignores him.
I have a hard time believing what appears to be middle school children wouldn't just leap at the opportunity for free ice cream, even if it is from the unpopular kid.
I mean, this goes beyond being unpopular. This kid must have killed their parents or something.
Okay, I'll bite. Why is this kid so unpopular? Is he overweight? Does he not bathe? Is his dad in prison?
Simon, you're the only kid in the whole school who's read the whole encyclopedia from cover to cover. It might make the others feel a little stupid.
Nope, he's unpopular because he knows a lot of stuff.
That's it. They're intimidated by his intelligence. Well, that's just the stupidest reason to be unpopular at school I've ever heard. And that's coming from me.
And he doesn't play it off as condescending or anything, he just brings up stupid bullshit trivia. Why would everyone not like him? Hey, don't hang out with that smart kid or you might learn stuff.
Already the foundation for this plot is flimsy as fuck, and I'm only 10 minutes into the damn thing.
We cut back to Jones here, bringing his find to some weird government research facility that's attempting to weaponize the supernatural. We see a demonstration of this when the head mad scientist shoots a dart at a man who we see has been bending spoons with his mind.
Just what I thought. A fraud.
Fraud. We just saw him bending spoons. One failed attempt when his life is at risk is gonna shut down your whole experiment. That's not how you science. Anyway, Indy shows the mad scientist the lamp that he found and gets fired. Meanwhile, the Dorknator is back at home with his soon-to-be engaged mother, ready to celebrate his shitty birthday with his soon-to-be stepfather, who's obviously a dick, and apparently just came back from a community performance of Grease. Jones shows up at Nerdlinger's house as a magician for his birthday, but of course each of his attempts to impress backfires because the kid knows how all of the tricks work.
That wasn't magic. You had some metallic potassium on your podium. When it mixed with the water, the hydrogen was released. The heat generated by the reaction set the hydrogen on fire.
It's elementary, my dear Riker.
Indiana Blows limps off defeated, but accidentally leaves his PKE meter and magic lamp behind. Why he brought those things to a magic act is beyond me. Same as how he doesn't seem to know how genies work and hasn't actually tried to rub this said magical lamp. But all this does mean that we get to move the story along so the kid can finally rub the lamp, the genie can appear, and ah!
What are you?
I'm the genie of the lamp.
Yeah, Robin Williams, this is nuts.
Oh, speaking of Robin Williams...
You're a psychotraumatic hallucination manifested to symbolize my inability to deal with the loss of my father figure.
You're a complex Freudian hallucination having something to do with my mother, and I don't know why you have wings. But you have very lovely legs, and you're a very nice tiny person, and what am I saying? I don't know who my mother was. I'm an orphan, and I've never taken drugs because I missed the 60s. I was an accountant.
Well, after more awful CG, the boy and his genie finally get acquainted. And by that I mean the actor playing the genie blows through all of his terrible accents.
It'll be 2001 years, a week from next Thursday.
Haven't you ever read The Arabian Nights? Yes, read. You read.
Have you ever been in an Irish kitchen? And if you don't know what that is, I feel sorry for you, lad. Hearts, moons, clovers.
And like some sort of awful episode of The Twilight Zone, everything the kid wishes for gets muddled with hyperbole and terrible, terrible things happen.
I'm not filthy rich, I'm just filthy!
This movie is literally full of shit. It writes itself, people.
I mean, I guess this explains why the genie has no 3-wish limit. He's just that bad. I wouldn't recommend asking to bring the dead back. We get more of an example from this in the next scene when Simon, oh, well, yeah, his name's Simon, by the way, is ogling his crush at school and accidentally wishes for new shoes so he can be popular, apparently forgetting he just got a new genie. When that goes wrong, Simon again accidentally wishes to take back his attempt to save himself from embarrassment, which results in this.
Wait. Oh, gross. Stop it, Simon, that's not nice.
Yeah, Simon, it's not nice to regurgitate your entire sandwich back into a solid form. Oh, and of course the genie conveniently doesn't show up when Simon tries to explain what's going on.
Any second now, the genie will appear. Come on, genie. I command you to appear.
Well, needless to say, Simon should just move to a new town and throw the lamp in a fire, since he obviously lost all hope with Winnie Cooper over here.
I liked your story about the genie today.
Oh no, wait, she's totally into guys with vivid imaginations and liked that he blamed his schizo behavior on a non-existent genie.
You could take a shit in her bathtub and she'd still be into you. Clearly there's no conflict here.
Okay, here's an interesting scene. Simon sends the genie back home after embarrassing him at school, and the genie starts messing around with the random appliances and gets the idea to let the little people out of the TV. Simon gets home from school only to find a chaotic mess that he has to wish away before his mom shows up.
This is actually a clever idea. You know, a kid having to make his way through characters materialized from a TV in order to get to the genie. You know, there's a lot of potential here.
Unfortunately, the writer's idea of TV is generic mobsters playing poker, an aerobics instructor, a ballroom dancer,
You know, typical cable television.
and...
I don't need those stinking Biden.
Oh, you leave Blazing Saddles out of this, you goddamn heathens.
Okay, to be fair, the line did originally come from The Treasure of Sierra Madre, but that's just giving the filmmakers way too much credit here. Oh, and this happens.
He's a new foreign exchange student, Roy.
Yeah, sure. Not a grown man in a dress who's been alone with your son. So Simon decides to ask the genie to make him a king.
Hey, huh?
Duh, genie. I said a king, not the king.
Oh, wait, so the genie mistook a television for little people trapped in a box, but somehow he knows who Elvis is.
Well, in a hilarious twist, the genie grants the wish, but in doing so turns his house into a castle. Simon decides to take his wish back, thus causing a group of knights to come in after him in an attempt to usurp the throne. But the pair escape just in time with the most epic carpet ride scene ever.
Oh, we're gonna crash!
Oh yeah, action-packed. So the castle stays, gaining the attention of Simon's mom, who gets blocked from going in, and the government paranormal group led by the mad scientist, who brings armed guards and tanks.
You're welcome.
No, hold on. How the fuck did this movie afford a tank? Seriously, who funded this movie so much that military-grade props were affordable?
Wait, 2 tanks?
Seriously, if someone was crazy enough to make this crap and be able to afford what's essentially a weapon, do you see where I'm going with this? We should all be afraid.
The mad scientist sends his goons in the castle, making sure that everyone knows he's the villain by basically giving the order to shoot anything on sight, including the kid.
If that boy resists, we will have no option but to use force.
Jones, guilty that he left the genie at the kid's house and probably kicking himself from not trying to rub the lamp earlier, tells the mom and the boyfriend about what's going on, and they break into the castle too. While everyone plays Scooby-Doo in the castle and wander around aimlessly through corridors, apparently unaware where the exit is, we find out through Jones that the sleazy scumbag fiance is a sleazy scumbag, and made a deal with the mad scientist to find the lamp for them. Well, those two apparently got acquainted fast. Oh, and while he's at it, Jones drops the ball on the two's entire relationship in general, pointing out how the boyfriend has been using her insecurities to manipulate her for her money, and that he's in a lot of debt, and suffers from limp dick.
Okay, the last one I made up. But at this point, Jones went from helping a lady's kid to playing Dr. fucking Phil.
Alright, fast forwarding, cutting through some shit. The mad scientist ends up with a lamp and starts using the genie to create weapons.
Stop it, you're hurting him! He doesn't like making weapons!
Oh, you just made that rule up.
Seeing that the genie is fully in the mad scientist's control, they let Simon and his mom go. Well, the news spreads of Simon's very real genie, and suddenly kids from school show up, including Simon's crush, and offer to help Simon save the genie.
We have these eyes. And they're brown.
They're blue.
Oh yeah. Anyway. I like them. Thanks.
Seriously, there's something wrong with this girl.
Can I also point out how the whole mushy sentimentality of the scene just flies out the window when you realize that these kids just learned that a genie actually exists and are, you know, probably just looking on gaining the whole wish granting action?
Oh, and now they suddenly think Simon's random knowledge is cool.
The White House in Washington, D.C. also has secret tunnels leading to the outside.
Really?
Yeah. It was rumored that President Nixon actually would sneak out at 2 a.m. in the morning just to get coffee and donuts.
Man, you know a lot of great stuff, son.
Shut up, girl. Boy. Sleeveless thing. What the fuck are you?
Well, call the Disney lawyers, because during the final confrontation with the mad scientist, he wishes the genie to turn him into a snake thing, and...
Okay, that's it. Best movie ever. Calling it now. Citizen Kane, got nothing on this shit. Rosebud, just fuck that noise. Fucking Snake Man.
Simon escapes Snake Man and gets the genie back, and before the armed goons arrive to gun down Simon and the other kids, he wishes for the genie's freedom.
I wish to send you home.
Wait, no, my mistake. He actually wishes to send the genie home.
Well, that's dumb. I mean, considering how Simon's vague wording has fucked him over in the past before, I mean, we don't even know what would be considered the genie's home.
Back in the lamp, at Simon's house, back in the Middle East where none of his family or friends exist anymore. Oh man, and check out this piece of awesome editing. If you pay really close attention to Simon's girlfriend on the left here... Oh shit, she was a genie too!
Oh fuck, I need to wrap this up quick. I still got 3 more movies to go through.
Jones and Simon's mom are now probably screwing. Simon now believes in wishes, and he finally gets friends to show up to his birthday party. The end.
And there was much rejoicing.
Whew. Gotta be honest, I don't know if I could do this, guys. I mean, we're only 1 movie in, and already I have just all the bad things to say. Either these movies have to start getting better, or this is gonna take a while.
How about Little Ghost? Ghosts are cool. Little things are cool. So our last movie was about a kid who becomes friends with a supernatural being and lives in a castle while being raised by a single mom who's dating a sleazeball. This movie is about a kid who becomes friends with a supernatural being and lives in a castle while being raised by a single mom who's dating a sleazeball.
Well, okay, that's a bit unfair. I mean, kid meets magical thing is a common kids movie trope. I bet this one doesn't involve shitty birthday parties.
Happy birthday, Kevin. Mom, I already have a pair of rollerblades.
Well, the only adult male that has sympathy to our child protagonist certainly doesn't have a fling with the single mom.
This is so nice.
It's often the small things that are most enjoyable.
Both climaxes have shitty special effects, don't they?
Alright, Kushner Law Company, I'm onto your shenanigans. Hey, why don't we open our movie with a 1.5-minute long helicopter shot of the castle? We put most of our conceivable budget on this one shot of the castle, and goddammit, we will use every last second of it. So the story goes, this kid's mom is some famous fitness guru or some shit, and bought a castle in Sylvania for her assistant, who's also a self-proclaimed clairvoyant, why not, her son, and her boyfriend to turn into a spa.
As good of a place as any, I guess.
Problem is, when you start defacing ancient European history, crazy shit tends to happen. Like how Kevin here meets the ghost of a former castle resident, Sophia, who tries to scare Kevin and his family out of the castle, which doesn't seem to work.
Why not? I'm a ghost. Yeah, you're a little ghost. Little ghost?
Hey man, little ghosts can be scary too.
Come and play with us, Daddy. Forever and ever and ever.
Oh, and it turns out this movie took sound effects from old DOS games.
Don't believe me? Just take a listen.
Yep, sound effects straight out of Daggerfall. Sophia leads Kevin to an abandoned tower to try to spook him again.
Yeah, okay, that was actually pretty creepy.
After admitting that he doesn't want to live in the castle in the first place, the two come to an agreement that Kevin will help Sophia get her castle back as long as she helps Kevin get rid of his mom's asshole of a boyfriend, who is currently in the middle of destroying the castle's precious antiques.
Are you out of your mind?
Pavel, the caretaker, clearly takes issue with this, but his sexy European powers seem to have no sway over pure American douchebaggery.
Let's go dig up the garden!
Fortunately, Sophia uses her ghost powers to intervene instead. She also uses her ghost powers to try to scare the mom out of the castle.
Oh. Oh, damn.
Really? Scary bubbles? They aren't even doing anything scary, they're just being bubbles. Man, this girl is worse at haunting than the family in Beetlejuice. So obviously none of the ghost girl's tricks actually seem to faze any of the adults. Later, Sophia talks about how she wishes her mom could help, but she only arrives once a year at the Harvest Moon, and that she can be summoned, but Sophia can't seem to get the spell to work.
The hell? Is her mother a pagan god or something? Why all the convoluted rituals?
Why is Sophia the only ghost in this castle that belonged to a family with a long history in the first place? And by the way, just in case you forgot this movie takes place in a castle, every scene is bookended with another exterior shot of the castle. Guess they couldn't afford the 2 tanks this time around and stuck with showing off their expensive film location. Pavel, the strapping caretaker, seems to be sympathetic to Kevin's plight of wanting him and his mom to leave the castle, and agrees to try to talk to his mom on his behalf, leading Pavel to run into his mom taking an evening stroll in her nightgown.
Wait a minute.
So blonde lady relaxes amongst the trees in a nightgown, and in comes the suave caretaker.
This movie just became a Lonely Housewife smut novel.
I mean, come on, the shot is one torn open shirt away from being the cover art.
We went from cheesy kids movie to full-blown Lifetime original movie in seconds flat.
Look!
I think that's your mom and the caretaker naked hugging.
I'd know that sneeze anywhere.
A sneeze you heard from telescope distance. So as it turns out, the sleazy boyfriend is actually having an affair with the assistant, and they're both working together to steal the mom's fortune.
Oh my god, what a shock.
It's okay though, because the kids quickly decide that they just need to hook Kevin's mom up with somebody else. But who could possibly be a good match, the two morons ask themselves.
Who's charming, romantic, and earth-shatteringly gorgeous. Pavel!
Okay, I'm glad we can all agree Pavel is gorgeous.
Wait. Wasn't the original plan to try to leave the castle? I mean, if Pavel and Kevin's mom... fuck it. Kevin invites Pavel to dinner, and Sophia tries to cock-block the sleazebag into proposing to his mom.
What is the matter with you?
I'm kicking my ass! Do you mind?
Who seems to at least have some common sense.
I will think about it.
Or maybe not, because almost instantly she gets mad at Pavel for accusing the douchebag of destroying a historic landmark, and immediately agrees to marry the shitstorm right after the conversation, clearly out of spite. After all that nonsense, we see Sophia attempt to summon her mother again. You fool, you summoned Satan!
I am complete.
Yeah, wouldn't that be an interesting movie?
Next stop on this crazy train, the adults hold a seance in order to fix the random spookiness that's been going on. But for whatever reason, the conspiring idiots decide to rig the seance into making it seem like the ghosts are totally cool, then moving in and turning the castle into a spa.
We're leaving. Bye-bye.
Why, though? Is it really that important that the mom thinks the place isn't haunted? Has it really been bugging her that badly? Because of all the hauntings that's been happening between the three adults, they've been rained on, strangled with a hose, and accosted by a lawnmower. All she got was a moderately surprising bubble bath. If anything, these two should be the ones legitimately looking for peace of mind. But I guess without the bad writing, we wouldn't get this gem of a performance.
This is the god of the castle!
Yep. Yeah, pretty sure my balls just receded into my pelvis.
Kevin and Ghost Girl pull the old switcheroo, however, and play the seance off like any good spirit summoning should go.
Now be gone, or no mind.
Well, everything seems to finally be going well. Kevin sure seems pleased with himself next to that dopey-looking suit of armor.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 Oh no!
But unfortunately, Kevin gets found out.
There's your ghost.
Okay, now this is Kevin. Testing.
Now leave my castle at once.
You have a real fucking ghost as part of your plan. Why the hell did you not just have her do the talking?
Oops. Sorry, big guy.
I really didn't like that guy.
Oh, but he seems so nice. Well, it's the grand opening of the spa. Sophia is slowly dying due to the damage done to her home. Or re-dying again. No, whatever. And Kevin gets locked in his room overnight thanks to the sleaze. Pavel, of course, shows up to free Kevin, and just in time for him to try the blood sacrifice to awaken Sophia's mom himself. Which unfortunately works.
I say unfortunately because now I get to subject you to this. Hey, blame Kevin.
The awful CG fest spooks out all the guests, and finally Sophia's mom materializes.
As a duly designated representative of the city, county, and state of New York, I order you to cease any and all supernatural activity and return forthwith to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension. That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Ray.
Mama?
You have disgraced the Klemenko name.
I tried to protect it. I did my best.
But you have failed, Sophia.
Well, this mother-daughter reunion is going well. Glad we spent half the movie trying to get this Ice Queen to show up. Fortunately, Kevin apparently has a way with words when it comes to centuries-old women.
You can't do this. You're a Klemenko. I thought Klemenkos had honor. I thought the Klemenkos were willing to die to protect their family.
You are right, my child.
Well, that de-escalated quickly.
So Kevin gets his mom back. because I guess he felt like she's been distant or something, I don't know. Her and Pavel are probably screwing, the sleaze gets his comeuppance, the family agrees to not turn the castle into a spa, and more castle shots! Must show more of this goddamn castle! And let's end it on a field of flowers, why not? The cinematographer was feeling creative that day.
Well, we're halfway through, and so far, Stevie D is not disappointed. Oh man, this shit's so bad I'm almost worried watching it's making me slowly lose my mind. What do you think, Id? Yeah, Josh Holloway would make a good Gambit.
I need a break from all the bad children performances.
Nah. A little, yes.
Let's do FTPD next. Or Fairy Tale Police Department. Well, that sounds cute. Wait a minute. It's a TV show with 2 hours worth of episodes?
Oh no, I'm already dealing with 3 feature-length movies here. I am not about to go into detail about some cartoon show. Fuck that noise. Here's the footnotes.
The premise is what you would expect from the title. There's a police department for Fairy Tale Land, and its job is to make sure fairy tales go as they're written. And this show hits all the cop show tropes. The always angry police chief, the eccentric forensics person, the reluctant partners with radically different personalities, in this case the hotshot moron Johnny Legend, and the collected by-the-book cop Chris Anderson.
Come to think of it, this cartoon hits almost every single cop show trope except for the sexual tension between partners.
At least, I don't think there's sexual tension between them.
You know, Rule 34 states that if it exists, then there's a porn of it. Just kidding, actually, nothing turned up. So apparently I broke the internet. Either that or this cartoon just doesn't exist.
As you'd guess from the premise, Mulder and Scully go on adventures helping out fairy tale characters with their unexpected problems. For example, Sleeping Beauty is actually ugly and the prince won't kiss her.
Looks aren't everything, you know. She might have a nice personality.
This is fairy tale land. Personality doesn't come into it.
The princess from Princess and the Frog refuses to put out. Geppetto lost his magic wood he was going to use to create Pinocchio.
Old man lost his magic wood? That's the case you're going with here, huh?
But basically, if it's supposed to happen in their story, then our heroes make sure it happens.
I mean, you could make a joke about how all the fairy tale characters are locked in their own fate and are unable to create their own destiny thanks to the firm grip their dictator-like god has on them. But I'm tired.
But probably by far the trippiest episode is the one with Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. The detectives are called in when the apple the evil queen gives to Snow White turns up missing, meaning Snow White never ate it, never died, and never became resurrected by Prince Charming's tongue piercing.
Is it weird that I just now realized most fairy tales involve kissing?
Herein lies the weird part. The dwarves end up being the culprits because, naturally, they don't want their maid to die, so the detectives and the evil queen herself band together to get the poison apple from the dwarves in order to continue the fairy tale.
Yeah, our protagonists join forces with an evil fairy tale character to ensure that Snow White dies of poisoning.
The best part is Snow White isn't even aware of any of this. She's just going about her business while people fight over trying to kill her. Well, there's not much more to say about that, so only one more to go now.
And let's just say I've saved the best for last. In fact, this last movie is so crazy and wild, and I feel like I've spent way too much time on the other 3 movies prior to it, that this last one's gonna have to be its own episode. I know, that seems like a cop-out, and I'm sorry, but trust me, it'll be well worth the wait. So stay tuned for Train Quest.